Is President Trump's Gulf visit focused on economic deals, leaving out spotlight on wars and peace talks, as Saudi Arabia rolls out red carpets in a grand welcome, and defense deals swell while diplomacy retreats into the shadows, reshaping America's posture in the Middle East? President Trump is on the move, setting America on the world's economic landscape. What does this move communicate? Well, these and many more will be detailed in today's Flash News. Good afternoon and welcome. I am Tabitha Akol. Let's begin. United States President Donald Trump has arrived in Saudi Arabia for a four-day tour of the Gulf region, focusing on signing major business deals. Now, this visit comes at a time when the Middle East is facing a serious crisis, especially the ongoing war in Gaza and renewed tensions with Iran over its nuclear programs. Now, is President Trump's focus on business a smart economic move or a risky distraction from conflict that could explode into a wider war? President Trump is not traveling alone. With him are some of America's top business leaders, including Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, Larry Fink, head of BlackRock, and Steven Schwarzman, CEO of Blackstone. He's also attending the Saudi-U.S. Investment Forum in Riyadh and will also visit Qatar, the United Arab Emirates. Notably, President Trump is keeping Israel despite his role in creating the Abraham Accords, which pushed for Arab-Israeli peace. That decision has raised questions about where peace efforts now stand. Well, Saudi Arabia gave Trump a powerful welcome, with fighter jets escorting his plane and a ceremony full of symbols like eagles and falcons meant to show the strength and tradition of the United States-Saudi partnership. Now, during this event, Saudi investment minister Khalid Al-Falih said energy is still important, but the country now wants global investment in many areas. Larry Fink supported this, saying Saudi Arabia has moved from being a follower to a leader in the global economy. But behind the business smiles, behind what we're seeing, there are serious political challenges. Just days before President Trump arrived, American and Iranian officials met in Oman to talk about Iran's nuclear activities. Now, Trump warned that military action may happen if talks fail. He may also travel to Turkey, where he could meet both Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Now, these meetings, if they happen, show that war and diplomacy are never far away, even during business trips. Now, what is President Trump's next stop? His next stop is Qatar, where massive investments are expected to be announced. According to reports, the Qatari royal family plans to give President Trump a luxury Boeing 747-8 jet. He says he will donate to his presidential library. However, this has raised concerns among ethics experts who question whether it's appropriate for a political leader to accept such gifts. Now, Trump will then head to the United Arab Emirates for more economic discussions and possible military deals. Still, one major topic will not be discussed: peace between Saudi Arabia and Israel. According to inside sources, Saudi Arabia refuses to move forward unless Israel agrees to a lasting ceasefire in Gaza and a roadmap toward Palestinian statehood. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has strongly rejected both. This has frozen Trump's earlier peace efforts in the region and made future progress more difficult, which poses the question: if Middle East peace process is falling apart, maybe Maybe yes, maybe not, just even gradually. Also, part of President Trump's delegation are top officials like Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. They are reportedly working on a new United States weapons deal worth over $100 billion, including military aircraft like the C-130. Now, this shows that even as the public message is about business, America's long-term interest in defense and power in the region remains very and largely strong. Moving on, President Trump's Gulf trip may lead to big headlines, huge investment, and major defense deals. But without a clear plan for peace and diplomacy, can such deals truly bring long-term stability? And is America building real partnership or just short-term alliances? Israel may seem sidelined as it stands, but what's the calculated Trump's move beyond this visit? Well, the coming weeks we will plethora of the talks on the way. We're gonna see that in the coming weeks. Well, in another development with a new Pope, Leo, who is the first Pope from the United States, has promised to build a stronger relationship with Jewish communities around the world. Now, his message comes during a difficult time as the Vatican and Israel are not getting along because of the war in Gaza. With this, the Pope might be truly trying to start afresh in support of a growing problem. Pope Leo sent a letter to Rabbi Naum Marantz, a leader from the American Jewish Committee. Now, the rabbi shared the letter online on Monday. In the message, the Pope said he wants to continue the Church's good relationship with Jews, just like it was encouraged in the Second Vatican Council's 1965 statement called Nostra Aetate. Now, that statement was very important. It said Jews should not be blamed for the death of Jesus and that Catholics and Jews should respect each other. Now, it also led to big moments like when Pope John Paul II visited a Jewish synagogue in Rome in 1986 and called Jews our beloved elder brothers. Since then, the relationship between Catholics and Jews has slowly gotten better. Now, in current time, Pope Leo is trying to rebuild trust. A source in the Vatican said Rabbi Marantz and other Jewish leaders will attend the Pope's first Mass this Sunday. But no one from the Israeli government has said they will. Israeli leaders staying silent at such an important event. Well, a good question to ask right there. But then, the tension between Israel and the Vatican grew last year. It started when Pope Francis criticized Israel for its action in Gaza. On October 7, 2023, Hamas attacked Israel, killing about 1,200 people and taking 250 hostages. Israel answered with heavy attacks on Gaza. Over 52,000 Palestinians have died since then, and many buildings have been destroyed. Now, Pope Francis later asked if Israel's military actions could be considered genocide. That comment angered Israeli officials. When Pope Francis died, Israel only sent its ambassador to the funeral, which many saw as a sign of protest. Now, Pope Leo must deal with these serious issues. Can he fix the Church's relationship with Jewish leaders and still speak honestly about the Israel and Hamas conflict? It will be a big test for the new Pope, but then the coming days will justify that. Now, in the United Kingdom, we got a report a 21-year-old man has been arrested by British police on suspicion of arson, with intent to endanger life after a fire broke out early Monday morning at the private home of newly elected Prime Minister Keir Starmer in Kentish Town, North London. Now, while no injuries were reported, police say the fire caused damage to the building's entrance. Also, the fire, which occurred in early hours of Monday, has now triggered a wider counter-terrorism investigation, with police examining 2 additional fires in the same area, one involving a vehicle in Kentish Town last Thursday and another at the entrance of a property in nearby Islington on Sunday. According to a BBC report, the Islington property is also linked to the Prime Minister, raising fees of a coordinated pattern. Meanwhile, police arrested the suspect early Tuesday morning. He remains in custody as investigators work to determine whether all three incidents are connected and whether they represent a deliberate threat to the Prime Minister and his family. Now, given the suspect's age and the gravity of the charges, questions are now being asked about what motivated him. Was this politically motivated, passionately driven, or part of something more dangerous brewing beneath the surface? We know that Keir Starmer, who became Prime Minister in July, after leading the Labour Party to victory, had lived in the Kentish townhouse with his wife and two children before moving to 10 Downing Street. Now, the Metropolitan Police Counter-Terrorism Command is leading the case, given the property size to a high-profile public figure. While security services are not yet labeling the attack as terrorism, their involvement signals that officials are taking the matter seriously. Starmer's spokesperson released a brief statement thanking emergency responders for their quick action on Monday. However, the silence on potential motives has only deepened public curiosity. Is the UK facing a growing threat against its political leaders, or was this an isolated act of violence? Now, bringing you over to the conclusion of this report, this case has also sparked broader concerns about how secure political leaders' private lives really are, especially when they transition from public servants to national leaders. How can government balance personal privacy with public security in a time of increasing political tension? Well, until next time, this is where we'll be drawing the curtain on today's flash news. Remember, we're bringing you recent happenings from the home front and Undaunted at the top of the hour, 8 p.m. Until then, do have a pleasant day and stay safe.